What if a president claimed that a common painkiller taken during pregnancy causes autism, and dared the world to challenge him? Tonight, we dive deep into a battle over truth, science, and political power. This is Violence Against the Truth. Stay tuned. It started with a headline that shocked the world. On September 25, 2025, in Washington, D.C., former President Donald Trump, alongside his Health and Human Services Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., made an announcement that ignited a firestorm across politics, medicine, and the media. Standing before the press, Trump declared that acetaminophen, known globally by its household name Tylenol, is not as safe as doctors have claimed. According to him, pregnant women who take Tylenol could be putting their unborn children at risk of autism. This wasn't a whisper or a vague concern. It was an official statement, backed by Kennedy, who has built a career questioning vaccines and mainstream medicine. Together, they announced plans to push the FDA to add new warning labels on Tylenol, launch new federally funded research into acetaminophen and autism, and even promote a controversial treatment, leucovorin, pitched as a therapy for some autism symptoms. The claim was explosive. For decades, Tylenol has been considered one of the safest painkillers for pregnant women. Doctors prescribe it routinely to reduce fevers, relieve headaches, and manage pain when other drugs are too risky. And now, suddenly, the Trump administration was telling the nation that this trusted medicine could be dangerous. Within minutes, the announcement spread like wildfire across the globe. Supporters hailed Trump for finally telling the truth about Big Pharma. Critics, meanwhile, accused him of pushing fear, junk science, and politics over evidence. But this was just the beginning. Because what Trump and Kennedy framed as a victory for health transparency was about to trigger one of the fiercest clashes yet between politics and science. Just hours after Trump's announcement began ricocheting across the headlines, another former president entered the conversation, and he did not hold back. Speaking at London's O2 Arena, Barack Obama delivered a fiery rebuke that would echo far beyond the stage. Obama called Trump's claims exactly what they were in his view: violence against the truth. And he didn't mince words. The former president warned that reckless statements about Tylenol and autism could harm millions of families, especially women who are already vulnerable during pregnancy. He reminded the world of a critical fact: autism diagnoses have increased over time, yes, but not because of Tylenol. Obama stressed that the rise is largely due to broader diagnostic criteria, better awareness, and improved detection, not a sudden epidemic caused by a common household drug. And in perhaps his sharpest line of attack, Obama accused Trump and Kennedy of weaponizing uncertainty, of preying on public fears and fueling misinformation to score political points. For Obama, this wasn't just about Tylenol. It was about the bigger picture: the erosion of trust in science, the politicization of health, and the danger of letting leaders rewrite reality to fit their own narratives. And his words hit hard, not just with the cheering London crowd, but with global health experts, political leaders, and everyday families watching the drama unfold in real time. Now, let's pause for a moment and strip away the politics. What does the science actually tell us about Tylenol, acetaminophen, and autism? First, it's true. Some studies have raised questions. Over the last decade, researchers have examined large groups of children and found a possible statistical link between prenatal acetaminophen use and conditions like autism or ADHD. But here's the key: these studies show association, not causation. Why does that matter? Because correlation can be misleading. For example, many women take Tylenol during pregnancy to treat fevers or infections. But those very conditions, the fever, the inflammation, even genetics, could be the real underlying factors influencing a child's development, not the pill itself. Second, when we look at the broader scientific record, the evidence is mixed and inconsistent. Some papers suggest small risks, others find no link at all. And major medical organizations, from the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists to the World Health Organization, still recommend acetaminophen as the safest pain relief option for pregnant women when used responsibly. Third, and this is crucial, the cost of fear-based messaging is real. If pregnant women are frightened into avoiding Tylenol, many could suffer needlessly from severe pain, high fevers, or resort to riskier alternatives like opioids or NSAIDs. And that could endanger both mother and child. And let's not forget, autism itself is not a disease with a single cause. or a problem to be cured. It's a complex neurological condition influenced by genetics, environment, and a web of factors scientists are only beginning to understand. Reducing it to one pill is not just misleading, it's harmful. So here's the truth. The science is far from settled. There is no credible proof that Tylenol causes autism. Which means the Trump-Kennedy announcement wasn't a revelation of hidden truth, but a leap far beyond what evidence can support. So here's the million-dollar question. If the science doesn't support the claim, why would Trump and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. make such a bold and risky announcement now? One answer is simple. Dominate the narrative. Health scares make headlines. And by linking Tylenol to autism, a topic already wrapped in controversy and emotion, Trump immediately seized the spotlight and framed himself as the man willing to say what others won't. Second, this plays perfectly into Trump's long-standing anti-establishment brand. His supporters already distrust big pharma, mainstream medicine, and government regulators. By questioning a drug as common as Tylenol, Trump and Kennedy tapped directly into that vein of skepticism, turning medical science into yet another battlefield in the culture wars. Third, energizing the base. Remember, Kennedy built his career questioning vaccines and medical orthodoxy. By putting him front and center, the Trump administration sends a clear message to health skeptics, libertarians, and anti-regulation voters. This White House is your champion. And then there's the policy angle. This isn't just rhetoric. It ties into Trump's Make America Healthy Again agenda. A sweeping push to challenge conventional medicine, take aim at pharmaceutical giants, and recast federal health policy through a populist lens. Whether it's Tylenol today or vaccines tomorrow, the strategy is clear: redefine what counts as truth in public health. But it's also a gamble. Because when you politicize science, you risk backlash, not only from Democrats or the media, but from doctors, women's health advocates, global health agencies, and even your own party. So make no mistake, this wasn't just about medicine. It was about power. Power to control the conversation. Power to bend science to politics. And power to define what millions of Americans believe is the truth. The fallout was immediate and global. Within hours of Trump and Kennedy's announcement, a wave of criticism came crashing down from scientists, world leaders, advocacy groups, and even members of Trump's own party. First came the World Health Organization. Officials moved quickly to reject the claim outright, insisting that there is no conclusive evidence linking Tylenol to autism. They warned that undermining trust in proven medicines could put millions of women and children at unnecessary risk. Then, U.S. medical groups weighed in. The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists and other leading associations urged pregnant women not to panic, stressing that acetaminophen remains the safest option when used correctly. For doctors, Trump's announcement wasn't just misleading, it was dangerous. And the political backlash. It wasn't just Democrats. Even Republicans began to distance themselves. Senate GOP leader John Thune voiced concern, saying leaders must be very guarded before making broad health assertions without clear evidence. Meanwhile, autism advocacy groups slammed the announcement as regressive. For years, activists have fought to shift the conversation away from blaming parents, blaming vaccines, or searching for a single cause. To them, Trump and Kennedy's words reduced autism to a problem to be prevented, rather than a spectrum of identities to be understood and respected. And then came Obama's rebuke, amplified by global media, framed as a battle for truth itself. Headlines branded the clash as a showdown, Trump versus science. Obama defends facts. The world was watching. In the end, the reactions revealed the fault lines of our time, a divide between politics and science, between fear and evidence, between those who trust institutions and those who want to tear them down. But if the backlash was fierce, the consequences were even bigger. Because this isn't just about today's headlines, it's about tomorrow's policies and the future of truth itself. So where does this battle over Tylenol, autism, and truth go from here? The answer carries weight far beyond one press conference. First, the regulatory front. Trump and Kennedy have already pushed the FDA to consider new warning labels on acetaminophen. If successful, millions of pill bottles could soon carry stark cautions about pregnancy and autism. And whether or not the science backs it, the label alone could reshape public perception. Second, research and funding. The administration has pledged to expand studies on acetaminophen and autism, pouring millions into exploring environmental triggers. On the surface, more science sounds like progress. But critics worry, if research is framed around a political agenda, can it really be trusted? Third, the public health consequences. Confusion among pregnant women is already spreading. Doctors report patients asking if Tylenol is dangerous, some considering riskier alternatives, and others refusing medication altogether. In the effort to protect unborn children, this new fear could unintentionally put both mothers and babies in greater danger. Fourth, the precedent. If a sitting or former president can declare a shift in medical advice without clear evidence, what's next? Could climate science be rewritten? Could vaccines be discredited again at the highest level of power? Each unproven claim chips away at the foundations of expertise, leaving citizens caught between politics and facts. And finally, the global ripple effect. The United States isn't alone in its battles over truth. Around the world, from Europe to Asia to Africa, populist leaders are watching closely. If America's leaders can redefine science for politics, others may feel emboldened to follow. Which brings us back to the core question. This was never just about Tylenol. It's about who gets to decide what's real, what's safe, and what's true. Scientists, politicians, or the people. In the weeks ahead, the world will watch to see if science holds the line, or if politics redraws it. Because the Tylenol controversy isn't just a medical debate. It's a test of democracy, of trust, and of truth itself. And one thing is certain, the fight is only just beginning.